Hi, welcome to this quick video on easy breezy math. Um, 28 years teaching math, lots of professional developments, lots of things I've learned over the years. One of the best things we've learned to do in math is to do and use this concept called interleaving. Interleaving, I don't have the definition for you exactly, but I'll tell you a little bit about it. You can look it up later. Interleaving, Interleaving. I'm not that great at spelling. I love math. But interleading is a concept where you teach more than one thing in one day. You want to teach different concepts in math so that students can see the relationship between these concepts and put them all together. Okay. One of the things we need to, one of the ways we can do that is if we create and make our own sheets. In math, we'll have a curriculum and you'll have your book. And yes, we do have to follow the book. We have no choice. We have to follow the book. However, we have the ability to not only do what that lesson is on the book, but so it's gonna be about 6 to 10 problems of practice on that. We can also add in yesterday's lesson. We can add in previews for the next lesson that's coming up the next week. We can start that hard, topic of completing the square. We can start that way back in September so that when we get there, we're ready and prepared to go for it. This is phenomenally great. One of the biggest challenges we have in math is how do I teach all these topics before the testing deadline, which is usually sometime in April? And you just don't have enough time to do them all if you're going to spend 2 weeks on this topic, 2 weeks on this topic, and 2 weeks on the next topic. That's no way to get there. It's just not going to work. It's not efficient. Imagine if you were a football player and you go to practice one day and your coach says, "Okay, guys, today we're doing football. Today we're going to practice tackling, and that's going to be for the next weeks. All we're going to do is tackle for the next 2 weeks." That would be kind of weird, right? Then the next 2 weeks after that, we're going to do catching. We'll practice catching the ball for the next 2 weeks. That's going to be weird, right? No one does that. You practice everything you know every single day. That's the way people do for music. If you want to be a good performer of music or a musician, you want to practice everything you know every day. Imagine if you're playing basketball and you're like, oh, well, today we're just going to work on stealing the ball. And that's going to be for the next 2 weeks. We're just working on stealing the ball. Or in the next 2 weeks after that, we'll work on speed. We'll work on how fast we're moving. And the next 2 weeks after that, we'll work on free throws. For the next 2 weeks, you'll never get there. You'll never get there. No, you want to practice all these concepts in one day. And the only way you can do that is if you make your own sheets. You make your own sheets, you write them out. When you write them out, what we found many times is it's less intimidating if they're actually handwritten sheets. But the beauty of writing the sheets out is you have all the control now. All your classes are not going to be on the same level. Some classes are going to be a little bit more advanced. Some classes are going to be a little bit more behind. We're also required to do some differentiation, right? We need to take some problems hard, some problems medium, and some problems pretty easy. Okay. This way we can add in and we have those problems for those advanced students that always seem to get the right ones and are bored. Then we put those little hard problems on there so that they have something extra to do. We also have those easier problems so that those that are struggling have something on the sheet that they can do, go to, and remember how to do. They might not know today's lesson, but they might be able to review. They might not know how to do or what's coming up the next few weeks, but they might be able to do a little one-step review in that on that sheet that can get them through it. Another beautiful thing about doing the sheets is when we do the word problems, we can now create our own word problems where we're not only using information and things that we know that they like, but we can also put their names on the sheet. So when they're looking at the sheet of the day and Amy looks down and says, "Oh my gosh, he put my name in here and he knows I love cats and he put me I'm going to buy cat toys, take 15% off. I'm going to buy cat food, I'm going to take 15% off and they're going to go right to that problem. They're going to love it. That's their own individual problem. This is how you make math fun. Um so go ahead and, you wanna be able to do that. Have them you as a teacher, make your own sheets. Try it out. See if you can do it. Later on in some videos, I'm gonna give you some examples of sheets that I make for my class, and the type of things I like to put on there. If I'm struggling on a topic, I know to keep that topic on the sheet a little bit longer. I can take a topic off the sheet, put it back on 2 weeks later to see how well they retain that information and see how well they remember. That's also a great exercise to do for the brain. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you did, go ahead and like it. Subscribe to Easy Breezy Math. More videos to come on how to get those math classes up to par and so that we can be good for testing and everything else that we need to do. Make your math classes fun. We'll see you later. Easy Breezy Math. Bye.